Welcome one, welcome all to your beautiful program on this beautiful and lovely Sunday morning. And we thank you all for giving us access into your houses, on your phones, wherever you are on the face of Africa. Ujambo, salama, sanbonani, habari za jone, ndayando, sialocha, nshamukwai, ndewo in Nigeria. Wherever you are on the African continent, our program, Sankofa, is specifically designed for Bantu, people of the skin. Finding our roots, finding our genesis, finding the areas of common interest. Where do we come from as a nation? Where are we today? And where are we going? And Sankofa, we're looking backwards and we want to see the future. And I would not find a better guest again for you today. Part two, with the Honorable His Majesty King BHUNGANI III. And our program for today will be taking a rather interesting turn because many of us in our homes, we build up homes through marriages. We make children through marriages. Let me state it right on top of the program. There's nothing called an illegitimate child because every child has a husband, has a father. Every child has a mother. The illegitimate people are the parents who are getting involved in an act that is legitimate. You cannot tell me that a child comes out illegitimate. So there are no illegitimate children. They are illegitimate parents. And many of us through marriages have defiled themselves. You have slept with people, engaged in sexual activity with people, produced children in those activities. Even sometimes when you want to get married, you think you are getting married because you have signed a small little contract from the magistrate court. Of what value is that? How is it? How was it? How will it be for the greater African people as far as marriage is concerned? What happens on the marriage covenants? What happens on the exchange of the cattle? What happens when you, in your own tribe, as a man, decide to enter into the womb of another woman to produce your own nation out of them? What sort of transactions happen in these environments? And in the moment that you decide the relationship is no longer functional, you wake up in the morning, you feel like, I can hire, I can fire. How does that interpret itself in terms of the spiritual realm, in terms of the African epistemologies, in terms of the African traditions and rights? And I think many of us, if not most of us, we are struggling with life simply because we have not understood how best we can manage our own homes and manage our marriages. Even if you say you are a Christian, which I understand very well from the Christian perspective, even then dowries were paid in the Bible. Dowries were paid. Women were accounted for. And women, you change fathers from your father's house to another father. And as for men, you change breasts from the breast of your mother to the breast of your wife. Let me say this before I do a full-fledged introduction of the king, that everything else is in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, cousin-in-law. There's only one who is not in-law, and that is the wife. She is the law. What am I talking about? The woman is an estate in herself. That's why the Bible says a man will leave his father's house. And many of you have never heard this, so let me be the first one to teach you. A man will leave his father's house and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. What does that mean? You are moving from an estate of your father and you start a new estate with your wife. Therefore, a woman is a full estate. She is the only real estate we are going to be discussing today. And I would not find a better guest for you on this particular program, but His Royal Majesty King BHUNGANI III, who will be taking us through paces. And please take notes, sit back, collect as much as you can. Where you can fix. Where you must correct. And before you make any mistakes, please take some notes. For spiritual things have a way of impacting what is happening to us on the physical realm. Welcome.
Wait.
King BHUNGANI.
Wait.
Greet the people on top of the program.
Wait.
Wow. We have a subject for you today. and we want to pull as much as we can. Let's make it as a narrative so that me and you, we can have our old conversation. In olden days, when a young man, when a young woman, they want to get married, was it up to them to get married? Was it up to the family to identify a partner for them? As far as the family looking for continuity, whose responsibility was it in ancient times to direct the planting of the seed from one house to another through the covenant of marriage?
Right. You are asking a very important question, because today we are lost. We are lost because we do not even understand the foundation of the Bantu people.
Right.
The foundation of the Bantu people, before I answer you, I think I need to establish the foundation.
Right.
We are people of Embo,
Right.
of the origin. We are people who are referred as Angoni, meaning people who do not dwell into sin.
Right.
And as we are talking about people who do not dwell into sin, then there is a culture, there is a tradition, there is a custom that guides us as the people who are not sinners or who do not dwell into sin, the people of Embo, from the cradle of humankind, who are Bantu people.
Right.
That culture, that customs, that traditions, it commands us to understand that the passage of marriage should be followed in this particular manner. One, that if you are to marry as a male, you have to marry a woman, you must understand that you are guided by the following foundation that I've just made mention of. But it is not upon you to decide when you see a woman passing, then you say, this is going to be my wife. It is not upon you. In the ancient times or days, what used to happen when a child is born, a male child or a female child on the other side, specifically a male child, the family already knows that they have a boy into their midst. What they will do, they will start gathering kettles in terms of wealth to prepare him, so that when he has to marry, they know that he is not going to suffer where he's going.
Right.
Two, before this boy leaps that stage of puberty, they know that they will have to find out at a tender age to say which girl or a woman who's going to be his wife.
Right.
They will go and consult to the seers to check families that they thought of to be part of the people that are going to form that partnership in terms of family relations, in terms of marriage.
Right.
They will go and check if those people did not dwell into sin.
Right.
Very important. I will repeat that they go and check. They don't go and check to say no 1 2 3. They go and check if that family did not dwell into sin.
There are no curses.
There are no curses in that family. They've never killed anybody, or they were not part of the witches, or all those things, so that when they lead their child to be marrying that particular girl, they know that there are no curses into that new family that they are putting together. If they did find out, what they will do, they will then send a delegation to that particular family to go and ask what we would refer as a relationship, or ubuhlobo, or what we would call not marriage.
You register your interest.
Yes. So that is the first process. And that first process,
And how old is the boy? at
the
this
boy is
time?
still young, still small boy.
Parents are already.
Absolutely. Already they have prepared for this young boy.
And even the girl also.
Absolutely.
They've already prepared where she's going.
Absolutely.
So is it correct, therefore, to say in ancient times, marriages were arranged marriages?
Absolutely. They knew why they have to do that. If you can see today, I'll go back to the ancient time. If you can see today how marriages are.
We meet in parties.
Absolutely. They are finished.
We meet in discourse.
Yes. But what we need
we meet
to
on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if we can build this foundation so that people understand why we are saying these marriages are a shamble today. Let me go back again.
Take your time.
Then they go to this family. Then they then ask for the hand in marriage of that girl. Then what they do, they leave certain assets to show commitment to
a deposit.
You would call it a deposit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm speaking to my young people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They will leave something to this family to show commitment, to say we are committed that your child would end up being married to our child. That is what we would refer as ukucela. Ukucela, to ask for the hand in marriage. That does not mean that young girl, she is married already. No.
So initially what I'm hearing you saying is that before even the children are grown up, the parents get engaged.
Absolutely.
The families get engaged.
They build that relationship from that foundation.
I want us to sit on that, because there is some gold right there.
Yes.
That you are still 3, 5, 7 years old.
Yes.
And there's already an engagement party.
Yes.
That has taken place, and the engagement is at a family level.
At the family. If they have found out that there's no curse in that family.
So a research has been done.
Absolutely.
We are sure.
Yes.
This is what we want.
Then they engage.
Then the family is engaged. So the engagement concept, which we are now using when our boys and girls,
with a ring,
they put a small little ring on there. It's my engagement ring. It means nothing.
It means nothing.
Because the real engagement
is the one that first
family.
Absolutely. Family comes together and agree to say, we will then be preparing for amalobolo. That engagement does not mean amalobolo. Absolutely.
It's just to say.
And in most cases, you would find out, in monetary value today, it will come to about 10, 15,000 rand.
It was a proper
20,000 rand.
It was a proper thing.
It depends with the family's wealth. It could be 100,000. Could be that 100 or 200,000, whatever, does not mean that you have lobolat that girl. No.
But what I like about what you're saying is when one family comes into another family and they declare their interest, now the responsibility of the family that has accepted the engagement is now to understand that we are no longer bringing up our child.
That's true.
We are bringing this child up to go and fit into that family.
Absolutely.
So the whole training and the whole orientation of the baby that is growing up, you already grow up being educated and being trained. So
being trained, absolutely.
So I think people. I want us to take a small little break. Just here. I think we've done our first 15 minutes. The first thing important, before you can engage with a woman, before you can get engaged with your boyfriend, I think it's important. What we are saying, you need a family consultation. Engagement must be firstly at a family level before the two of you can get involved. And I think we're going to have a good time today. Hang around with us. Don't go anywhere. Park, cancel some appointments. Don't move that remote from your hands. Just sit there. Let's go through this session. It might save you lots of problems and chaoses that are pending on the wings of your own life. We'll be back with you right after the break. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're here sitting with King BHUNGANI III, going through the rites of marriage. Just before we left, so what do you think is a problem with this issue of our modern girls and boys engaging each other?
It is a sin, because this young girl that you have penetrated without the permission of the gods, without the permission of the parents, because this child, before she is born, the parents will be told by the seers to say, this is the child who came on earth for a certain reason. You deceive this young child, and then you tell her lies, then you engage with her sexually, then you come with a ring. Don't you see that you have already committed a sin? Don't you see that you have already sinned against God?
You violated.
You violated, because you penetrated without the permission of the gods and of the parents. So that is the sin that you have carried the rest of your life. That's why anything that you'll do, because after penetrating this young girl, you lie about that ring. After that, you go and look for another one who's more caviar than the other one. What happens to that? You say, no, I don't want this one. I want the other one. Now you have left a sin behind. You have left another biggest sin of a child in that umbilical cord of that woman. Then you look for another greener pastures. Don't you think that your life is going to be a mess? You are a sinner.
We are on now.
Yes. That's we said we are people who do not dwell into sin.
Okay. Take me through, maybe we would do another program on the rites of passage.
Right.
But let's just take a small little leap.
Yes.
Now the boy is 7 years old.
Absolutely.
Or 8 years old. As they are growing up,
yes.
What are some of the basic key things that would happen on the baby girl and on the baby boy to prepare them for the marriage that was pending?
The young boy, I'll start from the side of the boy. The boy becomes now the custody of the father. The father then teaches the boy the traditions, the culture, things, how they are done in the family. Same applies on the other side. They groom both on different sides to become what they are supposed to become in future. Today, that does not happen. Our children, they grow up, they think they have amadlozi, they think they are old enough to marry without even understanding their culture and traditions. When you ask a young boy at this age today, what is your surname? He would say, I am you know, for an example, you can just choose any surname. Ngubeni. Then you ask him, Zitini Tagazelo, you know, what are the praises of Ngubeni? He does not know. He will tell you, no, I don't know. Then it simply means that boy was not trained. Same applies on the other side. You understand? Now these are traditions, cultures, customs that are being taught to this on both sides, so that when they come together at a certain age, when he reaches pubation, to go for an initiation boy,
rise of passage.
absolutely. The same applies on the other side of the girl. They are now both told by the parents, you should not be surprised. Remember, when they were young, they will make them to play together so that they get used to each other.
Without telling them.
Without telling them.
Yeah.
When they reach a certain age, they are now told to say, do not be surprised. This is going to be your wife.
So now the wife is introduced.
The boy has been prepared. The boy will never argue, because he knows that the choice of the parents is the choice of the gods.
And it comes to the history.
Absolutely.
It comes to the history. You know, you are not just saying this is your wife or this is your husband, but
because they know why.
Years of research.
Absolutely, years of research. Then when that boy is now ready to be accepting this woman as a wife, then they move to they leap to another stage. That stage is the stage that we would refer in South Africa or in the Southern Africa as amalobolo. To pay a dowry. But what is meant by lobola?
Take us through.
Lobola, if you break
maybe
it,
before we go to lobola,
yes.
I don't want us to miss this juicy part of the dating part or the courtship. Because I think many of our young people right now are caught up in the dating. What in the olden days?
No, we never dated.
How did it used to happen?
As I said, this child would be there, the child would be other side. They'll just play together. But there's no dating. There's no why they want them to, so that they get used to each other. But they don't tell them that this is your wife or this is your husband. At a certain age, because they know each other, it will be easy when the announcement is made. She will say, or he would say, oh, okay, because I am closer to her. Then it moves. The dating issue never worked.
So it would even happen in some certain instances. Will it happen in some certain instances that both families would actually allow their child to visit the other family and visit the other families at a neutral level as a visitor, rather without necessarily getting?
Some now try it now, but I'm talking about the ancient times.
Yeah.
Now they try to say, I want you to get used to Kamugelo. Because the other side, they saw a potential this side, so that this Kamugelo get used to this particular family, so that they build a friendship. But in the ancient days, in the ancient days, it will be prepared in that particular manner.
We just meet on festivals.
No, that's wrong.
I'm saying we would just meet, the kids will just meet on community environments and nothing personal.
Absolutely.
Take us through Malobolo.
Malobolo, Bayete. Then remember, this is the child that when that process, let me talk about the process of lobola first, the dowry. What it is meant by dowry, it means the following. The family will then come back to that particular family and say, as we came to ask for permission to marry your daughter, we are now here, we are now ready to deliver what we have said we would deliver, and our commitment, it is now going to be shown today. Then the family will then tell them, this is the procedure of our traditions this side. We would want a cow that is for the grandmother, a cow for the grandfather, a mother, father, whatever, uncle. They will tell you according to their tradition. Out of that, then there will be then a one cow that is very important.
Tell us that one.
And that is the cow that is going to make this young girl to move out of that particular surname, that particular family.
Into the other family.
Into the other family.
But before we go there, just take me through traditionally.
Yes.
How many cows, literally?
Thank you. That's a very good
How
one.
many cows? I know we'll be moving over to naming the child.
The
but
truth of the cows.
Can you just name them for us?
Yeah.
So at least the modern children, and by the way, you have become a warehouse of information. There are many parents out there who are sitting right now on Sundays deciding on a malobolo, and they just sit around and scratch their faces and say, okay, Mtana wetu has been to university, we have spent so much money, and we want 50,000, we want 60,000. What is the basis? What is the basis of lobola? What can you name the kettle for us?
The base, remember, this is the child that we are marrying, and this child, she belongs to the gods. It's not 50,000. She belongs to the gods, and we would know that who was the guardian of this particular child. It's not the mother only, but it's the grandmother.
The grandmother. So the first most important cow there is for the grandmother. Ukoko. So there's on the lobola, one of the most important.
Because why? Remember, the child where this young girl is growing up, it is not her family house. It belongs to Indlu Yabomkulu. It is a house of the forefathers.
Yabokoko.
Yabokoko Nabomkulu. That's why then the second one will come from Mkulu.
The next one. So the first cow you pay is the one for your for the grandmother.
The first one.
You are taking the child away from
It depends with families, but in terms of tradition, but that is the tradition that we are talking about.
So the second one is Ngegamkulu.
Ngegamkulu.
Okay.
And then it could be another one that ukugeza umpimbo kunikeza umama omkhulisile kuthiwa enye eyala ekhaya eyakababa ukuthi sibonga ngendlela enimphathe ngayo lengane namenza abo ulo muntu oba uye.
Okay, I think we got the first four there.
Yeah.
Then we are hearing from
the last one. This is the one that is going to be used to transcend this girl, to remove her from this particular surname to the other surname where she is heading to. Yes.
So there are five for a start. Let me just give you, for those of you who are taking notes, the first cow that is brought, and does it matter in male or female?
Angithi bayinika kagogo yabayayazi ukuthi njani
It's okay.
bayayazi akamkhulu njani kanjalo.
Okay. So we have the grandmother must have her cow. Then mkulu must have his ox, or if it's a cow, it's still fine. Umama must have her cow. Then ubaba also must have his cow. And then there's one that is very important, the one that will be used to transfer her surname. Take us through that ceremony.
Now, these cows, remember, let's go back again. These cows are crucial because they are thanking the way the child was raised, the way she was groomed. And we say thanks to the forefathers of this house.
I want you to help the young people out there who think that when you are paying dowry, you are buying.
No, you are not buying. You are thanking the forefathers to have brought this, because the child is not only born by accident. The child is born by the consultation of the gods. It's the gods who decides to say, how is this child who's going to be born? It can be he, can be she. I'll tell you of a practical example.
By it.
I have a daughter. Her name is Somhlologazi. When I was in Abidjan, I was told that you are going to have a child. This old man was talking to me. Do not be surprised about the color of hair. This is going to be a young girl. Her name is supposed to be Somhlologazi. I am coming back on earth to come and finish what I did not finish in the past. Please do the following rituals for me. My name is Somhlologazi. Now, that simply means every child, he or she is commanded by the forefathers. The forefathers knew why they brought her or him on the earth. Thus I said, you decide to come and bring a ring from nowhere. You then enter the space that is sacred without the permission of the forefathers. Because by giving these cows, you are saying to those forefathers, we are now seeking permission
By it.
to take this child to be part of our family
By it.
on the other side. It's not paying, but it's seeking permission from the forefathers to say, we are committing, and by committing, we are saying, with this little token, we are then asking this child to be our side. This is what we called amalobolo.
So amalobolo is literally families marrying each other.
Absolutely.
It's not. I can hear from the conversation so far, in as much as the object of conversation are the two that are getting married.
Absolutely,
But there's much more happening.
Absolutely. Because what happens there, if I am Kize, I have married in the family of Bengu, the children that are going to be coming, they will know that no one must marry again from the Bengus. Because it's one family.
We are now one family.
We are one family. In the family that they have not married, they know that they do not play in the space of the Bengus, because the Bengus are our family.
We are already part of one
We are
family.
already part of one another. That's why it's very important that we are building. I'm trying to agree with you to say we are now building relationships. These are surnames coming together as one.
The cementing of families.
Absolutely. That's what it is.
And I hope our young people can learn out there that if you can get your mother-in-law and your fathers-in-laws agreeing before even the marriage, I think half of the battles that men of our young people are fighting right now between mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-law would be solved long time ago, because your mother-in-law is the one who selected you.
Absolutely.
Before you even came into the space.
Yes.
And I think that's something very, very fundamental that you are raising right there.
Yes.
Take us through the ceremony
Yes.
of the young girl. Now, from the time now the parents have come to pay or to submit
Yes.
or to cement their commitment with lobola.
Yes.
And the 5 cattle have been put forward.
Yes.
The 4 are going to remain in the family.
Yes.
But this particular one
Yes.
that is going to be used for the transfer and the cleansing and the rebirth and the reborn and the death. Take that whole ceremony there. Did you take your time? Take your time.
Now, this young girl, the family now knows that she now belongs to the other surname. What they do, they take this cattle into the kraal. Why the kraal? In the ancient days, we used to bury in the kraal. Not the way we are burying today, where you find somebody sleeping in the coffin and then you say you have buried somebody. In the ancient days, what they used to do, they would go and dig into the kraal a structure that is similar to a chair. And they will cover the father of that particular house or home with a cattle skin and give him the stick and give him the spear to say, from today, you are going to sit here and take care of your homestead. You are not going to sleep, but you are going to be protecting your homestead from the witches, from the wrong people who are entering this place.
From the kraal.
From the kraal. And then what they do, they extend the kraal. Then after they've done that, they then close that particular grave in a particular manner, and then they extend, then they put back the cattle into the kraal, and then the cattle will then level the sand. So that's why a child, whenever things are being done traditionally, they go to the kraal, because in the kraal there are those forefathers who are there in that kraal.
Wow.
Who are being buried in that.
Something very interesting is happening while you are talking.
Yes.
So it means that the burial site of the ancient fathers is in the kraal.
Is in the kraal.
And the cattle stay in the kraal.
kraal.
Now, when you pay dowry, you pay dowry from the kraal.
Yes.
So basically, cattle are spiritual.
Are spiritual, because remember the other side, where the girl comes
they
from.
Also have their own kraal there.
Where the boy comes from also. Because they took the cattle from the kraal and they gave it to the other family. The other family would put them where? Into the kraal and say to the forefathers of that particular kraal, this is what they have done today.
So it's bringing kraals together.
Absolutely. This is what they have done. The family of BHUNGANI, they came to us to commit with this particular kettles. Then they state them, and then they say these are the kettles that they've committed, and then they are put into the kraal.
Something very exciting is happening in my mind. No wonder we want to smile like a Pungani. We are busy conversing here how the boy and girl are going to start making children, but in my mind I'm actually looking at it from the wealth base.
Absolutely.
That you have taken your cattle to the other kraal.
Yes.
The cattle are also going to start breeding.
Yes.
And the growing wealth on the other side.
And be blessed.
And the mixing of the spirits, the joining of the homes becomes a basis. The spiritual wealth in the kraal manifests itself in the fruitfulness within the wow.
So that cattle that you asked me about,
that
one cow, what they do, they go to their cattle, the site of the girl, and say, as you know, that the Bengus were here.
Yes.
The Bengus, yes, they've delivered what they have said when the young girl at the tender age was growing. They came to us for their hand in marriage. Indeed, today they've fulfilled.
As engagement is corner, so ungeneza malobola ke manje.
This is what they have brought now. They are talking to the kraal now, to the forefathers in the kraal. Now, we are planning a day where we will now be releasing this young girl to go
from this kraal
to the other family of the BHUNGANIs.
I don't want us to lose the concept of the kraal.
Yes.
Stay on that path, because I think there's some nice gold that is there. Because this ceremony you're talking about of this one cow
is done in that kraal.
Done in the kraal.
On the side of the woman.
Yes, because I want us now to move from here, from this kraal. Where are we moving to? To the other home.
Yeah, to the other home. But now what they do.
Let's do the ceremony first here.
Yeah, now from the side of the woman.
Yes.
They then inform those from the side of the male, of the boy, to say, in this particular day, we then agree to say, we will bring the young girl to your side.
Yes.
Then what they do in that, they then slaughter that cow.
Here, at their mother's house.
Yeah, the young girl's side. And then the uncles, together with the family that side, they then talk to the ancestors who are in that kraal to say, from today, we are now removing the surname of the Bengus from this young child. She is now going to assume a new identity and a new surname.
Wow. Itwani lenkonzo. What is the name of this ceremony?
Ngesintu kuthiwa uyabulawa lo mntwana.
So a girl
This
must
girl.
be killed.
Absolutely. That's why bathi amalobola.
Bola, rot.
Yes. She then rot into what
Dead,
she was. Then she
killed.
then risen anew.
In the new home.
In the new home.
This is some heavy things here. Some heavy things right there. So a girl must actually firstly die
Absolutely.
in her father's
Spiritually.
house. Yes, I'm with you.
Yes.
In her father's house.
Yes.
What is her relationship now with his father after she has left?
She's totally detached from, because they have to deliver her to the side of the boy.
Take me through.
They then go early in the morning. They then stand outside and start shouting, Nina bakapungan.
Ibambe lapha Pungani. We'll be back right after the break. Nina awakapungan. The girl has died in her father's house. We're now transporting her to the new space where she must start her new life. We'll be back right after the break as we are unearthing, unpacking ancient traditions in terms of marriage here on your program, Sankofa. We'll be right back.
The coronavirus outbreak.
Experience the extraordinary.
Tremendous waste and tremendous fraud. Mexico is, in fact, you will soon find out.
It is a day to celebrate.
We don't approve at all what's going on.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily unusual.
Challenge your ordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Experience the extraordinary with Starsat. Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move!
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with Starsat.
If you have just joined us, we are here on your program Sankofa, unearthing ancient African traditions and marriage rites and ceremonies, and how did we get married in ancient times? Lobolas, what is lobola? Gubola, killing, dying, slaughtering of animals and everything else that goes with it there, cementing of the relationships. So today I hope you learned something very new, that marriage is not about you engaging your boyfriend or you getting engaged to your girlfriend. It's the families that are engaged when you are still young. Research must be done so that you can build houses. And I cut him short. You are still doing if from what you can remember, yes, in terms of the praises and the greetings which would happen when the family is bringing this young girl. What would they say?
They will then come early in the morning with this young girl, together with the family that is accompanying this young girl to the Bunganis, and start shouting from outside and waking up this family.
How would the shouting sound like in ancient times?
They would then say, Nina baka Bungan. Sizela hapa tina baka Bengu.
Okay.
Silethi impahla yenu.
Okay. We from the Bunganis.
Yes.
We are coming here to the Bengus.
Yes.
From the Bengus.
Yes.
We have brought your thing.
Because she does not have any identity now. Remember,
okay,
they've killed her.
Okay. She has been lobola. She has bolled on that
Absolutely.
side. She has died.
With that particular cattle, that cow.
Her
now
surname,
she does not have an identity.
Her surname is dead on that
Absolutely.
side. So she comes here
she
actually.
cannot be said that we have brought something from the Bengu. Yes. The name was killed, the surname was killed.
Come on.
She does not exist anymore. It is upon the Bunganis now to revive her by giving her a new name and a surname.
Wow. Wow. That's a mic dropper right there. In media, we say drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Then the Bunganis will then send a particular delegation to go and receive. Who are those in that delegation?
Come on now.
Is the women of this particular homestead. To take her, because whilst they were doing that on the other side, we were doing it on the other side. What did we do? We slaughtered a cow. This cow that we have slaughtered, it is a cow that we were informing the ancestors in our kraal.
Someone is coming.
Someone is coming. Please expect this particular person. Please assist us to give us the name of this particular person.
Wow.
Because she has to do what?
Take over.
Revive a certain woman who died in our family. She then assumes that identity. Then what happened in that particular time? The women then undress this young woman.
At the gate.
They take the same skin of the cattle.
I'm listening.
They cover her. Then they take her straight to the kraal. And then those of the Bunganis who are allowed to enter into the kraal, not women, the male who are allowed to enter.
Women accept her.
They
and
then
dress
deliver
her.
Yes.
And then they deliver her to the men.
Yes. Then the women, then they watch from outside the kraal.
The men go inside.
When I mean watching, not standing, but ukbeka macansi. Then they sit and watch this ceremony. Then the male then deliver this young child to the ancestors and say, nangu-ke usibanibani okuthiwa wakabhengu namhlanje sizomvusa siyamvusa simnikeza igama simnikeza nesibongo sala ekhaya. Then they pour gall onto her
of the same cow that they had killed.
Absolutely.
Then inyongo yakhona, which is the girl, is poured on. But whose responsibility was it to come up with a name? Or they would dream, or
no, they would dream. Somebody in the family. I think you're asking a very important question. Today, we've got families where anybody can just go Msamo, he wants to burn the essence to call it impepper. Not everybody is permitted to do so. There is a person that is appointed in the family who does that. There's a person in the family who speaks to the ancestors. Not any Tom, Dick, and Harry.
And the hairy ones, yeah.
Absolutely. Not anybody who does that. There's a that person is the one who then says, I have come to you in this particular day, and today indeed what I have told you is happening. This is the young girl that we have spoken about. That is the person who's doing that ceremony. And say, please assist me to confirm, to reconfirm the name you have given me. Do you agree to it? A sign will happen. And then they then pour the gall. Then after they poured the gall, Inyongo, then this girl would then be taken back to those women. While she's
she's introduced to the kraal.
Yes.
Introduced to the, and I love this part, that you're coming from your kraal, where our cattle, nobulongo basekhaya, so in other words, our cattle are now with you.
Absolutely.
And the cow that left here was killed there.
Yes.
And then through that, you were killed on that side.
Yes.
You are coming into this family now, and another cow or cattle is killed this side to reintroduce you, to resurrect you, give you a new name. The women accept you. The fathers name you at the kraal, and then they hand you over to the old women.
Now remember, as they pour that gall onto you,
what are they saying?
They are talking to the ancestors to say, this is now the child of this family.
So the gall represents reintroduction.
Absolutely. Now you are given a new identity, you are given a new DNA.
Wow.
Because you are now part of this family. That's why no one has a right to chase you out of the homestead. No one has a right to talk to you badly, because remember, you bear a name that once existed in this family.
Okay.
And therefore no one should even the boy that they brought this woman to, he has no right to talk to this young girl. Anyhow.
Because in some cases, this young girl is now named after your grandmother, after your aunt.
Absolutely.
And so, yes. Usubheke ugogo.
Absolutely, it's
Usubheke
true.
u-aunt.
It's true. It's true.
Wow.
So what happens is that you don't chase this woman out of the homestead because you would be chasing away your ancestors because that girl has been poured onto her.
She's one of us.
She's
now.
one of us. You don't have a right. You don't have a right to speak to her anyhow. She's now part of the family. Then there's a process after that.
I want us to hold on the process.
Yes.
I want us just maybe to
Yes.
clean up this part nicely.
Yes.
Where a child is reborn into the family,
Yes.
you
Of the
become
BHUNGANI.
one with the Bunganis.
Yes.
And you cannot chase away a child.
You don't. Even the husband to be has no right.
That's, for me, that's quite deep.
Yeah, you don't have no
because
right.
many of us right now, many of our young boys and girls think they can walk into families and walk out of families.
Absolutely. You don't walk out.
And
you don't walk out because if you do so, you would have chased away your ancestors. That's why in tradition or traditionally, if she has done wrong, the family has concluded that she behaved so terribly to the extent that we have tried to talk to her, she does not want to listen. What they do, they build a house in the homestead, but far from that particular husband. And that husband is told never to touch this woman anymore. But she's part of the family. When you chase her, you chase away your ancestors.
She will go when she wants to go.
If she goes on her own, then the ancestors will remain. But if you pronounce it to say, hamba like I, it is a disaster that no one would ever fix it again.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to get heated. Is it getting heated up here? I don't know if I'm the only one enjoying this conversation because of my love for African culture and love for African history. And many of us young boys and girls who are growing up in cities, we think that because we can tweet, we can flicks, we can Instagram, and we can tweet, you think you know everything. And you think that running around, getting yourself drunk in town, having girlfriends and boyfriends, switching them around is a playground. I think what we are learning today is something much more, much deeper that is happening. You will end up in witchcraft, trying to fix the problems of negligence. We'll be back with you right after the break on top of the program to be unpacking this issue and these subjects around marriage, dowries, and how did we in the ancient times multiply, marry each other to build new families. My guest today is King BHUNGANI III, and we are still going to be unpacking. We'll be back right after the break.
Hello. Being a legal practitioner in South Africa in these challenging times demands lawyers that will help clients beyond legal issues. The ever-changing demands in commerce and tourism require lawyers who have sound and clear business and commercial knowledge, and that's where BHUNGANI Incorporated comes in. Our business, mining, tourism, health, labor, and economic knowledge encapsulated with law and litigation experience gives us an advantage in the legal sphere. Our experience in assisting businesses, government, and various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa.